What is going on, everybody? Hello, 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 and happy Monday. Welcome to the Astro Room for another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast for the week of March 27th through April 2nd, 2023. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. And as always, if you're returning, welcome back. Speaking of the channel is everything tarot, astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my loves. So this is another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. Happy to be back. Happy Monday. How are you guys feeling? Okay, we've got some people in the chat. All right, so we've got Philip Boone, we've got Rejuvenated, we've got Teen. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me here live. And even if you are joining on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I promise you will love it. All right, we also got Patricia Jean. What's going on? And we've got Ramel. Thank you so much for joining, my friends. All right, so Aries season is officially underway. All right. And I don't know about you, but the energy is so new. It's so fresh. It's so amplified. I don't know. I don't remember feeling this amped and this sort of newness last Aries season. There's something about this time, this moment in time right now that feels so new. It feels so spring-like. It feels so I don't know about you. Let me know in the chat how you feel about this Aries season. And if you're joining me on the replay, let me know in the comments how Aries season feels for you so far. All right. So before I get into the nitty gritty, of course, announcements and housekeeping. So if you are joining me on the live, thank you so much. Feel free to say hello in the chat and don't forget to hit that like button on your way in, please. And thank you. And even if you are joining me on the replay, go ahead and hit that like button. I really think that you're going to enjoy this. Even if you don't enjoy it, it's super informative. All right. So it's chock full of information. So hit that like button as well. Thank you. All right. So let's see, what else do we have? So in terms of announcements, on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing the monthly Astro forecast for the month of April. That is going down here live on YouTube Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So subscribe, set notifications, put your alarm on your phone, whatever you need to do to remember to tune in Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Do that because thankfully, April is not the same beast as March. March was on some shit. April is going to be a lot calmer. However, we are going to be entering into eclipse season, which is always a fun time and definitely interesting. So if you want to know everything about April, what April has in store for you astrologically and spiritually speaking, tune in Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right. So if you are someone who likes your horoscopes, but you don't necessarily like the ones online, they can be a little lengthy and maybe they don't really resonate with you. I have a text service where you can get your weekly horoscope texted to you every single Monday morning. And if you are interested, definitely text ZODIAC to 855-826-5544. That information will be in the description box below. Again, the quick and dirty weekly horoscope texted right to your phone. People seem to really enjoy it. So if you're in the slightest bit interested, definitely subscribe. Plus, you also get 10% off everything on my site. So it works out for all of us. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? All right. So if you are new to astrology, or even if you started studying astrology and you feel like you need a refresher, I created this thing called the Astrology Basics Cheat Sheet, which basically gives you the quick and dirty on everything you need to know to start studying astrology, mainly the 4 pillars of astrology, which are the planets, the houses, the zodiac signs, and the aspects. It is an 11-page PDF document that gives you a quick summary of all of these things so you can start committing them to memory, because despite what anyone may tell you, astrology is a science, and like any science, it requires a good deal, or at least a surface level amount of study. All right. And so I created this cheat sheet in order to help you on your astrological journey. And if you're interested in getting that, the link to that is in the description box below. All right. So I guess that's it for announcements. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah. So I know I kept pushing it back. I kept saying that I was going to do all of the signs, separate videos for March. But when I tell you March got the better of me, yeah, March got the better of me. So we're just going to move right along to April. So I'm going to start working on the April videos actually tomorrow. And for the signs that missed March, or the signs I didn't get to in March, you guys will get an extra bonus, extra surprise. All right. So again, hit that subscribe button plus that notification bell so you don't miss any of those videos when they drop. All right. So today I was thinking and I'm like, all right, I feel like we've gotten over, I don't even want to say that Pisces season was a hump. I feel like Pisces season was the season of gestation. It was a season of really tapping into our power in order to create the reality that we want to see. And then with Saturn going into Pisces, and now with us in Aries season, with the sun in Aries and a couple of planets in Aries, it's almost like, so Pisces season was the gestation period, right? That's when we were in the womb. That's when we were fetuses developing. And this Aries season, we've emerged. We've been reborn. We've emerged from the womb, right? And it's kind of like, I think everyone's experiences, at least in this moment in time in Aries season, it's really a result of the gestation period that you did in Pisces season. So I find that whatever you nurtured, whatever you gave life to in your subconscious during Pisces season is literally playing out real time right now in Aries season. Not just because the sun is in Aries, but also because Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces crystallizes everything that we plant in our subconscious. So many of us are experiencing a rebirth if we sort of gestated that rebirth energy during Pisces season. If we sort of just were consistent with what we were doing before, I think that that's the energy that we're sort of living in now. So I feel like this is one of those weeks where it's really good for introspection and reflection because there isn't that much going on astrologically, meaning that I don't feel like you're going to be subject to a lot of energy in terms of this thing's happening. It's sort of like a mellow kind of week, which is always great for introspection. And so I feel like it's one of those weeks where you really want to take stock of what is your reality currently looking like? And in examining your current reality, that's going to let you know what you've been gestating over the last month or even the last couple of months. Because again, this is a season of, where we've been born, we're here now, right? And so I feel like it's a great time to reflect on some of those things. Okay. And speaking of reflection, we've got Mercury and Jupiter conjunct in Aries. And so this is going to allow us to do a lot of focusing on ourselves, okay? And not in a very sort of Piscean or very sort of Scorpio or very emotional or substantive kind of way. This is really just taking a look at yourself, your desires, your passions with an eye toward the future. Because Jupiter is sort of long-term looking. It's very optimistic. It's very hopeful. It's very big picture. So I like the energy. I like this energy specifically because, again, if you take a look at your reality, you can kind of see what you've been gestating. Okay. And so this Mercury-Jupiter conjunction in Aries really allows you to take a look at yourself and see what needs to change. But the best part about it is because we've also got the sun in Aries, you're going to feel motivated to make those changes. So I feel like there's a lot of energy this week that can allow you to really make some changes and make some moves. Okay. I don't know about, hello, Chanel. How are you? Thank you for joining. Aries season is all about making moves, right? But what moves specifically are you making? Are you making moves that are in alignment with some of the things that you no longer want? Or are you making moves in a different direction? And I definitely feel like the astrology this week can help us get clear on answering those questions and seeing where we're at and where we want to go, okay? And we're also going to get a little push from the universe with some of the other astrology that is going on this week. But it was really heavy on my spirit today to really talk about this rebirth, this newness, this energy, because I also feel like there are some people out there who are not feeling as new. They're not feeling brand spanking new. They're not feeling the energy of this Aries season. And I feel like it's because you're sort of bringing everything from last year. And by last year, I mean the zodiacal year. A lot of that stuff, you're carrying it into this year with you. And it may make you feel like, okay, so it's spring, it's whatever, but I don't feel different. I don't feel, rejuvenated. I don't feel like I'm planting new seeds and watching them grow. Like I feel like the same shit that I felt before. That's because you're bringing in the same shit from before. So again, I feel like this is a week where you can really hone in on what your reality looks like, whether you want it to change, and having the motivation to actually change it. Of course, if you want to, right? Because all of this, even everything I say, it all has to do with your free will. You can choose to do with it what you want, right? But I always feel like aligning ourselves with the cycles of nature, aligning ourselves with the universe is always your best bet. So take that information and do with it as you will. All right. All right. So let's get into the week and see what we've got here. All right. Okay. I'm looking at this comment. I definitely want to put this on screen because this is good. Oh my God. I just read about the gestation water in the womb earlier today in my open. See, right? We're aligned. Yes. That Pisces energy is so potent. It's so potent. It's so potent for birth, for development, right? I said before about Jupiter. Jupiter is all about optimism. It's all about seeing the bigger picture. And, Pisces, the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. Okay. And so there's this element of seeing the bigger picture, of being optimistic, and being larger than life, right? That's why Pisces season can feel so daunting because it's a lot. Tapping into our subconscious is not light work. That shit is intense. Yeah, but again, right now you're experiencing whatever you just stated. So again, take that information and do with it as you will. All right. So now let's get into the highlights and then into the week. All right. So first up, we have what I like to call conjunction junction. So this week we've got two important conjunctions, which is really going to emphasize the Aries and the Taurus energy. So wherever Aries and Taurus are in your chart is where you're going to feel or experience a lot of, I'm not even going to say energy shifts. You may just experience happenings. You may just experience the energy in and of itself, but that's where the emphasis is this week. All right. And they're actually two really good conjunctions, astrologically speaking. Then we have what I like to call going the distance. And this is going to be Mars trine Saturn. So typically Mars and Saturn are known as malefic planets, meaning that they exude sort of negative energy. But in a trine, Mars and Saturn can actually do some really positive work. And this is a great time for this kind of energy because basically it allows you to feel motivated to do something, but then it gives you the discipline and the frame of mind to keep it going. So again, because we're in Aries season and Aries is all about taking action, this is going to be a week where you want to plan what you want to do and actually take action toward it, because whatever you do specifically this week has a likelihood of sticking. It has the likelihood of going the distance. It has the likelihood of you not only being motivated, but disciplined to see it through. So I feel like that's a really important transit for this week. And then finally, we have what I like to call building momentum, because we are making our way to the full moon in Libra in about a week and a half. And so we're in the waxing phase. So it's all about building momentum. It's all about taking those action steps. Now, depending on where the moon is, meaning its sign, those action steps may look different. They may not be proactive. They may be introspective. All right. And we'll definitely get into that. We're actually going to have a little bit of both of that this week with the moon's transit through the sky. So like I said, not a lot going on this week, thank God. But what is going on is pretty important. All right. So speaking of the week, let's check it out. So On Tuesday, tomorrow, we've got the first conjunction, which is Mercury conjunct Jupiter, and both of those planets are going to be in Aries. Then we have the moon moving into Cancer. It's home sign, so we're definitely going to be feeling moody, a little crabby maybe, but definitely psychic. Definitely your intuition is going to be on fleek, all of that good stuff. Then on Thursday, we've got the second conjunction, which is Venus conjunct Uranus, and both of those planets are in Taurus, all right? And Venus is at home in Taurus, so this energy is going to be super potent, which is great. Then we've got that Mars trine Saturn transit I was just talking about. Mars is currently in Cancer, and Saturn is in Pisces. All right. So keep in mind, these two planets are in water signs. So this is more of that gestation kind of energy. All right. It's really important to stay focused on that. And then we have the moon moving into playful Leo. Then we close out the week on Sunday with the moon moving into Virgo. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the week and see exactly what we've got going on. All right, so first up, we've got Mercury conjunct Jupiter, and you will see both of those at the bottom left-hand portion of the chart. They are both going to be at 18 degrees Aries. And then we've got the moon in Cancer. And you see that the bottom portion of the chart, the moon will be at 0 degrees Cancer. All right. So first up, Mercury conjunct Jupiter. I like this, especially in Aries, because it can bring good news. It can bring optimism, and perhaps in a way that it's newness. Okay. Because it's Aries, it's the first sign of the zodiac. This may be news of something new, something starting, something developing, but it's going to be good. It's going to be happy. It's going to be optimistic. Okay. And even if it necessarily isn't those things, I feel like it could also be like a blessing in disguise, okay? Aries energy, while it is initiating, can be very combative, okay? So it may be that you're butting heads with someone or you get into an argument. However, it can end well. You can have a peaceful resolution. Even if you've been experiencing conflicts before, this kind of transit allows for letting bygones be bygones, burying the hatchet and starting anew. Okay. So I feel like even if it's not optimistic and happy on its face, I feel like whatever may happen under this transit can be like a blessing in disguise. I feel like the best use of this energy is for planning for the future, especially because both planets are in the sign of Aries. It's all about beginnings, right? Now, you're at the starting line, okay, and you're about to run this race. What course of action do you want to take? Where do you want the destination to be? This is about looking at the long term, the bigger picture, and starting at the starting line, starting at ground zero, okay? And being able to think about the future optimistically, okay? Like this energy is literally just available to you and you can tap into it if you choose. But like I said, the best use of the energy is definitely planning for the future. It's also great for trips. So if you are taking a trip, I feel like it's going to go well. You may have fun, all of that good stuff, but it's also great for planning a trip, whether it's short term or short distance or long distance. Put those wheels in motion, start looking for tickets, rent your car, do whatever you need to do. It's perfect for travel. Okay. Particularly someplace new that you haven't been before. All right. So definitely take advantage of that if you can. Now, one of the other ways that this transit can sort of play out is that you may have a lot of ideas, enterprising ideas about things that you want to start. And again, feeling very motivated about it because we're talking about Aries. It's very important for you to write them down because they can be sort of fleeting, right? You remember them when you are immersed in the emotion of motivation, right? You're sort of euphoric, you're feeling happy, you're feeling optimistic. However, when shit hits the fan, it may be very difficult to remember that thing that you felt so good about while you were feeling good, right? So definitely journal, write things down, memorialize things because you may tend to forget them, especially once the euphoria or the motivation sort of starts to wane, okay? So definitely keep that in mind. Hello, Nay, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining. All right. Planning for the future, any sort of business deals are favored, especially new business. So whether you are reaching out to new clients, doing new deals, all of that stuff is favored under this particular transit. All right. But most importantly, let me not say most importantly, because I think I said most importantly in terms of planning for the future. Also, have fun. This is a very light-hearted, this is a very impulsive kind of energy that's available to us. So if you feel like doing something on a whim, if you feel like being spontaneous, if you feel like playing hooky, do it. Do it. Life is too short not to. All right. So again, this is a very feel-good kind of transit. And I like that we're starting off the week like this because last 2 weeks have been pretty heavy. I mean, last week was sort of the first full week. Well, I wouldn't even say the full week, but the first week of Aries season. But now the energy has sort of settled and we can sort of get our bearings. We can figure out where we are. And I feel like this is one of those transits that reminds you that life doesn't have to be so serious. You can definitely have fun. You can be spontaneous, be a little bit impulsive, and it's okay. All right. Then we also have the moon in Cancer, and it's also going to be in the first quarter phase. So Cancer is the moon's home sign. So the moon is very comfortable in Cancer. And when the moon is in Cancer, we have an instinctive need for peace and quiet. We sort of like to hunker down at home. We tend to be a bit sensitive, perhaps a bit moody, a little defensive. And it's also a time when we can really tap into our psychic abilities, our intuition, all of that stuff really thrives when the moon is in Cancer. Now, keep in mind that Mars just went into Cancer as well. So this may make people extra crabby, especially if they feel slighted, if someone triggers them. This may make people feel very aggy. So this is energy that's continuing from last week. Like people may get extra sensitive and extra defensive if you happen to poke fun at them, if you trigger them with respect to an insecurity or something like that. So it's one of those transits where you definitely want to have grace for yourself and for others because everyone's just trying to navigate the waters of Mars in Cancer. If you listen to the weekly astro forecast last week, I described how Mars is not at all comfortable in Cancer. Mars is get up and go. It's fire and that dynamism, if that's a word, I don't even know, but I made it up and it sounds good, right? That dynamism that Mars is known for gets muted and diluted in Cancer. And that makes people feel a sort of way, right? Like you may want to take action. You may want to pop off, but like the environment is not conducive to it or your fire gets extinguished. So it makes people crabby and very aggy. So again, have patience and grace for not only yourself, but for others because everyone's feeling this energy, right? So anyway, anything having to do with home, family, get together, anything that's motherly or nurturing, those kind of activities thrive when the moon is in Cancer, all right? And the fact that the moon is going to be in the first quarter phase means that it's time for us to put the past behind us. The first quarter phase is halfway between the new moon and the full moon, and we're making our way to the full moon. So whatever has been done since the new moon, it's done. It's finished. There's no need to rehash the past. There's no need to try to make sense of it. It's all about keeping forward. It's all about moving forward and keeping the momentum. Remember I said in the highlights, this week is about building momentum. Stop and reflect on what has happened in the past, but don't wallow there. Don't ruminate on that. Keep it moving and keep it pushing. All right. So that's Tuesday. Let's see what else we got for the week. All right, so then on Thursday, we've got the second conjunction of the week, which is Venus conjunct Uranus. And both of those planets are in Taurus, and you will see them both at 16 degrees Uranus at the upper right-hand portion of the chart. Then we also have Mars trine Saturn, and Mars is at 2 degrees Cancer, and Saturn is at 2 degrees Pisces. And the same day, we have the moon moving into light-hearted, warm, and generous Leo, right? And you'll see that at 0 degrees Leo at the top left-hand portion of the chart, all right? So first up, Venus conjunct Uranus. So if you are familiar with me, my channel, my videos, you will know that I designate Uranus as the hand of God. It's chaotic, it is out of control, but it is the breeding ground for creation, So anytime we have any transits involving Uranus, it's really about surrender. It's about letting go, and it's about letting things just happen. We do not have to control every single thing, right? We should leave room for spirit, leave room for the magic, leave room for the universe to surprise you. And Uranus, by the way, is also the planet of surprises, sudden changes, windfalls. Okay. And speaking of windfalls, there's a pretty good transit for windfalls of money. All right. Because we're talking about Venus, and Venus is in her home sign, or at least one of her home signs of Taurus. So this has a lot to do with money. It has a lot to do with assets. It has a lot to do with material possessions. Okay. It also has a lot to do with value, like self-esteem, self-worth. The value that we assign and ascribe to certain things has a lot, or I should say, is connected to Venus in Taurus. So when Venus conjuncts Uranus in Taurus, this is like letting go and letting God. This is excitement, change, upheaval when it comes to things like love and money. This could be windfalls of money, right? And it could go either way, okay? Usually when we hear windfall, we think, oh my God, we're going to win the lotto, or oh my gosh, I'm going to find like $10,000 in cash in the back of a cab, as unrealistic as that sounds, but it is a possibility. But it could also be a loss, right? You could lose just as much as you can gain in a windfall, you can lose in a windfall. And it's all divine order. It's all divinely guided. It's all divinely orchestrated. And again, it's one of those situations where you kind of just have to let go and let God. Now, they're not exactly conjunct the North Node, but the North Node is also in Taurus. So this may be, it's not maybe, it is fate stepping in, right? For the resources that we need, for the partnerships that we need, the alliances that we need. I feel like the universe is going to place these things in our path or give us signs with respect to the things that we need. But either way, I feel like it's going to be a good transit. And even if it doesn't have a lot of that high level spiritual energy that I've just described, it could just be experiencing something exciting. It could be meeting someone new, having a different kind of conversation, finding $20 in your jeans before you put them in the washing machine. Like, it could be those kind of things. There's levels to this, all right? So while you should expect, I'm not saying you should, but while you can expect grandiose things to happen, sometimes the magic is in the smallest details, it's in the smallest mundane kind of things. The whole point is expect the unexpected and leave room for spirit to work. All right. Then we've got that Mars trine Saturn transit that I was talking about before. And I really, really like this, even though the energy may not necessarily feel that good. Okay. Because remember, I said Mars is in Cancer, which is just uncomfortable. Okay. Uncomfortable. And Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn isn't necessarily that comfortable in Pisces either. These are very harsh energy planets in very soft and watery signs, okay? But when you put these two together, magic can really happen. You know, when I spoke about Saturn first entering Pisces, I talked about how this is doing the work to reprogram your subconscious. This is doing the inner work so that your outer reality can reflect what it is that you really want to have, experience, and achieve in this lifetime, right? The good thing about, so that's Saturn in Pisces. The good thing about Mars in Cancer is that we're really in touch with our emotions. You may feel the emotion of motivation, of happiness, of that starting fresh energy that I started this live talking about, right? So it gives you, this transit gives you the strength, the ambition, the motivation to actually do new things and stick to them. That's the best part. Because Aries energy, Mars energy, it's very dynamic, right? It's all about starting, but not necessarily finishing. So if there is something that you want to change, if there is a different reality that you want to experience going forward, it behooves you, seriously, to put in the work right now. Perfect example, you want to lose weight. Change your diet this week. Start exercising this week. I guarantee that 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, while you may not be doing the exact same things that you started doing this week, you're likely still going to be motivated to continue on that trajectory. Okay. This is doing the inner work to experience the outer reality that you want to have. Okay. And it's not just about doing the physical work, right? We are in Aries season. This is about taking like physical action steps, dynamic action to start things. You have to align yourself within first. Okay. So yes, you may be motivated. Yes, you're going to take the action steps and, have the discipline to keep going. But first and foremost, you have to align with source. You have to align with your highest self. You and your higher self are going to make a pact, right? Y'all are going to have a contract. And I highly suggest this. And I'm going a little on a tangent right now, but I feel like it's necessary. God, source, universe knows you intimately. There's no specific way that you have to do things other than the way that is natural to you. So sit down with source, higher self, whatever you call it, them, and talk. Like have like a conference, have like a roundtable discussion and say, look, this is what I want to have. This is what I want to do. How do we make this happen? And likely source, spirit, whatever is going to say, all right, like I'm going to guide you. I'm going to show you what you need. I'm going to put the right people in your path. I'm going to give you the motivation. I'm going to show you how to get the knowledge you need to have the things that you want. You just got to stay in communication with me. And don't feel like you have to do some elaborate ritual or some like you have to say things a certain way. Talk how you need to talk. Say what you need to say. If you are hood, don't feel like you have to dress up your language to some highfalutin kind of dialogue for source to hear you. Source will hear you exactly as you are. This is what you're going to do this week. You are going to sit down with source, write it down. Remember I said you're going to have a lot of ideas. You're going to want to memorialize them. Write that shit down. Say, source, this is what I want. I don't necessarily know how to get it. Show me how to get it. How can we work together to make this thing happen? And check in with source regularly. I'm a big proponent on a regular meditation regimen, right? But maybe you just can't right now. Even if you can check in only a couple of days, check in, tap in. Again, it doesn't have to be you sitting cross-legged on the floor, chanting Om for like 4 hours. It could literally, you go to the bathroom at work and say, yo, spirit, what's good? I need help with this. Or is this like, do I need to be talking to this person? Do I need to be doing it? Just check in. It's simple. It's a lot simpler than we make it. We make it so complicated. We make it so hard. And in doing so, it deters us from doing the thing that we need to do, which is checking in with spirit. So this week, please, I'm literally begging you, literally, check in with spirit. Tell spirit, this is what I want. This is what I want to experience. How we going to make this happen? And then let spirit guide you. But then here comes the thing. Listen to the promptings that you get. Follow your intuition. Follow those nudges. Those are not for no reason. We are always conditioned to not trust ourselves. How can you not trust yourself when you are God? Trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Check in with spirit. Say, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. Cool. How do we make it happen? And I promise you, spirit will keep you motivated. That's where this motivation comes in. It's not our own motivation that we are relying on. We're relying on the motivation of source. Remember, I said Mars is in Cancer. Saturn is in Pisces. This is otherworldly stuff. This is the subconscious. This isn't our conscious self. This isn't our physical energy. Right? In the Bible, they say, lean not on your own understanding. This is the perfect example of that. Lean on the understanding of source, of God, of universe. Rely on them, have them motivate you, because trust and believe they will motivate you. Even when you don't want to, even when you don't know how, Spirit Source will show you. Spirit Source will either give you something good to keep you motivated or light a fire under that ass to keep you going. That's it. That's all you have to do. And Mars trine Saturn, perfect transit for that. So again, if you feel like this Aries season, it's not feeling as new as you would like it to be, you're not feeling that breath of fresh air, tap in. Figure out what you're bringing in from last season. That's just not, it's not this season shit. It's stuff that you may not want to experience again. You don't like, you don't want to have. Check in with yourself and be like, listen, I don't want this shit no more. I don't want to experience this. I don't want to have this. I don't want this anymore. And then tap in with Spirit and be like, listen, this is what I do want. Let's make it happen. And you will have it. You will have it. You will experience it. You will possess it. You will have it. So just do it. So just do it. All right. All right. So on a more mundane level, this particular transit, it allows you to do difficult tasks. Okay. So again, if there's perfect example, if there's something that you've been wanting, but it requires some difficult work that you don't want to do, I feel like this transit is going to give you the energy to actually do it and get the job done. All right. It's a great time for relationships also. With both of these planets being in water signs, I feel like connecting with people on a deeper level is going to be a thing. Connecting with people on a deeper level via sex is going to be a thing. Longevity, commitment is going to be a thing because Saturn is all about longevity and commitment. So you have like the best of both worlds. You can have like an amazing sexual relationship or sexual connection with someone that leads to something long term. If you wanted to, of course. But again, I feel like this transit has the best of both worlds. It has that immediate gratification plus the long-term energy to keep it going with a variety of things. So it's really great. It's great for business. It's great for legal proceedings. This also fosters really good relationships with people who are in authority. So whether it's a parent, a boss, authority figures, teachers, anything like that, I feel like it can foster really good relationships with those people. Okay. So again, I already told you ad nauseum what to do. Now this is going down on Thursday, but the energy is already available to you. So you know what to do. All right. Then the same day we have the moon in Leo. And this is great because Leo is all about the heart. Leo's all about feeling good. It's lighthearted energy. Okay. So I feel like specifically midweek, even if you've been feeling down in the dumps, even if you've been feeling not as good, I want to say not as fresh, but not like, you're dirty or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like that freshness, that spring energy. You're just not feeling that pep in your step. I feel like Leo might, that moon in Leo might help with that because it's heart-centered, it's warm, it's generous. It's all about our inner child. So again, doing anything spontaneous, doing anything fun, especially if you haven't been feeling that well. I think that this week, the astrology fosters that and will help you get into a better mood. Okay. So life doesn't have to be so serious. All right. Definitely have fun this week if you can. All right. So romance, creativity, those always thrive when the moon is in Leo. Okay. So have fun, be romantic, do Leo shit. I mean, Leo people always be having fun. They're always, they never take things too seriously. And so it reminds us that life is more than just the circumstances that we find ourselves in. We can choose to have fun. And that's what our inner child loves. I love that. I just love the idea of the inner child because some of us really forget them. We neglect them. We neglect them for the sake of adulting because we're conditioned to think that adulting is what you should be doing. Meanwhile, kids, remember when you had no bills? Remember when life was just fun? You could do what you want. Like you could ask for whatever you want. You might not always get it, but you could ask for it. Like life was so rich as a child. And I feel like the moon in Leo reminds us of that. All right. So the moon is going to be in the wax and gibbous phase. So this is about taking those final steps toward our goals. And, one of the things I've realized in life is that when you're working hard towards something, you know how when you get like close to it and you put so much pressure on yourself, like you just make it so serious. You're like, no, I really got to focus. A lot of times when you detach, when you let go, when you decide not to take things so seriously, that's when it comes with ease. I'll give you a perfect example. So I was studying for the bar exam, and it's 2 months of heavy duty studying because the bar exam is 2, or depending on how many exams you take, 3 days, 8 hours each day of testing. So you're studying like crazy for 2 months straight. And right before the exam, I want to say either 2 days before or the night before, I stopped studying and I went to the movies. My best friend at the time, like he and I just chilled. We had fun. And it made me sort of drop my defenses. Like it made me not tense up. I was able to enter the exam like at peace and relaxed, right? So I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know if I'm channeling this or what, but ease into things. You don't have to control every single asset of every single thing. Relax, have fun, and shit will come to you and it'll feel better too. And I feel like the moon in Leo has a lot of that energy with it. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, have fun. Especially, well, it's Thursday. It's going into the weekend. Have fun, follow your heart. Don't take things so seriously. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, so then we close out the week on Sunday with the moon moving into Virgo. And you will see that at 0 degrees Virgo at the bottom right-hand portion of the chart. All right, so we entered the weekend having fun, being lighthearted. And then on Sunday, we are reminded that it's time to get a little serious. Virgo energy, I don't know. Virgo energy can be very down to earth, very practical, right? It's not to say that you can't still have fun, but I love when the moon is in Virgo on a Sunday. It really helps you set your week up right. Every time the moon is in Virgo on Sundays, like that's when you feel like good about like meal prepping. That's when you feel good about cleaning your house. That's when you feel good about ironing all the clothes that you're going to be wearing for the week, or where you feel like just tidying up so that you have less clutter, not only in your space, but in your mind, right? Cleanliness is next to godliness, and Virgo knows this oh so well. And starting your week off with the moon in Virgo, organizing, getting efficient, setting yourself up is going to be a really good thing to do. All right. And so whenever the moon is in Virgo, we tend to gravitate towards practical things anyway. So again, moon was in Leo from Thursday. This is the time to have fun. You may be hanging out with people, doing the most. And then come Sunday, it's like, okay, let's power down. So I saw this meme on Instagram either yesterday or the day before. And it was like this girl came home from brunch on Sunday with bottomless mimosas. She came home at like 10 p.m., disheveled, still drunk, and she had a random gerbil with her. And she was like, yeah, I don't know what to do with this. Moon in Virgo would definitely chastise that. Bottomless mimosas are wonderful, but when the moon is in Virgo, I don't think it's a good look. All right. I feel like moon in Virgo, again, it's about getting practical. It's about getting organized, getting efficient, and setting yourself up for a wonderful week. Okay. This is a great time to focus on your health. Like I said, the first thing that came to mind when I was writing, for this live was meal prepping. I feel like, especially if you've got body goals for this new year, for this Aries season, I feel like this Sunday is going to be a great day to get some kind of schedule together. Doesn't have to be rigid, But maybe you want to do some grocery shopping and start setting up your core items that you want to eat going forward. All right. Maybe this week it's going to be chicken and fish. Maybe next week it's going to be like turkey and salmon or something. But you want to set those things in motion. You want to compartmentalize those things, organize those things. Because remember what I said, we're already checking in with spirit, right? That Mars trine Saturn energy, we're getting right within. Okay, we're telling spirit what we want, and then we're going to execute, right? And then that moon in Virgo gives us the practical eye and even the attention to detail to follow through with practical planning. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot that can be accomplished in this next week. And again, because we're still at that start of the new astrological year, if you will use the energy wisely, you are setting yourself up for success. Okay. So again, meal prep, clean your house, do laundry, iron, all of the shit that you don't like to do, but really helps you in the long run. You're going to want to do that on Sunday. All right. And then again, this is about taking those action steps towards the things that we want to manifest, because the moon is going to be in the waxing gibbous phase. So this week is kind of like a mixed bag, right? I feel like there's a lot of spiritual work that we can do. There's a lot of practical work, and we're also leaving room for the magic. We're leaving room for spirit to help us out, to surprise us, right? And we're building momentum with the things that we want to achieve with the waxing moon this week. So really good week. Again, not that much going on, but what is going on is super important. All right. So now I'm going to go. I feel like this is a new tradition now. Pulling cards at the end of each live just feels really good. I don't know if you guys enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. So we're just going to continue doing it. All right. So of course, we're going to start at the beginning, and we're going to start with Aries. So again, these messages, I do them by sign, but whatever resonates with you, take it. If it's not your sign, if it's not part of your big three, it doesn't matter. The messages are the messages. So take whatever resonates with you. All right. So first off, we will start with Aries. Let's see what we have for Aries. All right. We've got 7 of Pentacles. These are seeds well planted. You know how I started off the live and I was saying that everything feels so new and so fresh, right? I feel like for Aries, this is definitely true. I feel like you've planted the seeds and it is now like harvest time. It's time for you to reap what you have sown, for better or for worse, right? But I get the sense that you're feeling really good about it. I feel like you were diligent and you had the consciousness to really put in the work, okay? And so I feel like now this is just the time for you to reap the benefits and see what this new year has in store for you, all right? So yeah, I feel like this is just the time for you to see what you've been working on. Remember I said this is our entrance, right? This Aries season that is the new astrological year. So if you're not necessarily liking the seeds that are coming up, you can always change them. You can always uproot and replant. All right. But either way, I feel like that newness, that entrance into the new year, you guys are really feeling that at this time. All right. So next up, we've got Taurus. Let's see what we've got for, Taurus. I like this for you. We've got 10 of Cups. Yes. All right. So some of you are booed up. Some of you are experiencing I'm hearing evolution in your relationships, or there's just something that is super emotionally fulfilling that you are experiencing at this time. I'm feeling warm and tingly right now. I have a feeling that it has a lot to do with love and relationships for you guys. You guys are, yes, this is you with the kitties and everything. Like you guys are really experiencing love, whether it's singularly, whether it's plurally with someone else. You guys are really experiencing love, the frequency and the vibration of love this week, and it feels really good. Congratulations. All right, let's see what we have for Gemini. What we got for Gemini? Okay, Gemini, you guys have 10 of Pentacles. Okay. Money is looking very good this week. I'm hearing like sharing. There's some sharing of resources that you guys want to do right now. Like you want to share the wealth. Isn't there a card in Monopoly called Share the Wealth or something like that? I feel like you've taken the right turns, you've made the right decisions, and they're paying off. And now it's like you're at the top and you're like, damn, I want to share this with somebody. I want to share this view with somebody. I want to share this money with somebody. I want to share this experience with somebody. Remember, Pentacles isn't just money. Pentacles can be experiences. Pentacles can be the things that we value. And you've achieved something of value and you want to share it with somebody. So share the wealth. Share the wealth. And sharing it, it's going to bring you more. So don't think that even if you share, don't be stingy sharing either. Yeah, Spirit is like, don't be stingy. Don't be like, oh, you can have this little bit. No, the more you share, the more you get. So share the wealth, Gemini. All right. Next up, we've got Cancer. Let's see what we have for Cancer. All right. We've got Daughter of Wands. This is like the Page of Wands. Some of you are feeling really fiery right now. You're feeling almost out of your element. A lot of you guys like to play things cool. You like to feel before you act, right? And in this moment, you guys are not, I'm hearing you guys are not with the shits. Like you guys just want to go. You guys just want to do. You don't want to have to check in with how you feel. Like you don't want to be chained down by your emotions. It's almost like you don't care how you feel. You just want to do and be impulsive. And in this moment, Spirit is saying, follow that. It's like you don't want to check in with your intuition, but your intuition is telling you not to check in with your intuition. So don't check in with your intuition. I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense because that sounded crazy coming out of my mouth. But yeah, just do it. Like Nike, just do it. All right. So next up, we've got Leo. Let's see what we've got for Leo for this week. Leo, you guys are taking your time with something. Like seriously, you are taking your time. Like, okay. We've got the God of Pentacles, which is like the King of Pentacles. Some of you have a project. Some of you have something that you want to debut. Again, something that you could value, but you're taking your time with it and you've kind of got it under wraps. Like you really don't want to just come out guns blazing. Like you really want to take your time with it. You're almost kind of being tight-lipped about it too. You just kind of want to keep it to yourself. You want it to grow. It's almost like you've invested in something and you're not quite yet ready to take it out. You want to let it grow some more. You want to let it accumulate. You want to let that compound interest keep accumulating, whether it's financial or otherwise. And Spirit is like, good. It's almost like you can leave the cake in the oven a little longer. You don't necessarily have to take it out right now. Not to say that it's not done right now, but you can leave it in a little longer. Let it bake a little longer, and that's perfectly fine. All right. Next up, we've got Virgo. Let's see what we have for Virgo for this week. Some of you are looking for the plug. Some of you are the plug. Some of you are, you've got two, so I'll take them. We've got the God of Swords, which is the King of Swords, and we've got the Three of Cups. Some of you are the plug. Like you have an idea that people like really love. There's something about what you think or what you have to say or your opinion that like people are going to gravitate toward. Like you are going to be the oracle. You are going to be the person that people tap into or that people like follow. Because what you say is like golden right now. What you have is what people want. Okay. I hope that makes sense. And I see people celebrating you, celebrating your mind, celebrating your advice. Like I see you in a very good public light right now. There may be people singing your praises, praising you for what you've done in the past or what you're doing now. But I feel like you're going to enjoy a nice like moment in the sun. And it's not just because I know how y'all are. Y'all love to be right. Y'all love to be right. Y'all love to tell people, yes, I was right. it's not even that. Like, whatever you have to say, it's not just going to be right for the sake of being right. It's also going to feel good intuitively, because whatever you're saying, it's not really from you. You're just the conduit to spirit, the conduit to spirit, through spirit. Spirit works through you. And that's why people are going to gravitate toward it so much. All right. So speak up, speak out. If you're planning on putting something out, then do that, because it's going to be received well. All right. So next up, we've got Libra. Okay, Libra. We've got the Supreme. All right. This is the all. This is the everything. Okay. A lot of you are realizing who you are this week, or you're being reminded who you are, that this is you. This is no one outside of you. This is nothing outside of you. This is you. Take a good look at this card, because this is you. This is you. You've got everything you need. You have access to all knowledge, all things. There is nothing that is outside of your limits. You are limitless. And there's going to be a situation this week that's going to remind you of that. Never forget this. Some of you have in the past. Some of you have fallen into the trap of being too earthly, being too 3D, being too much about the circumstances, and not realizing that you rise above the circumstances because you create the circumstances. And so there's going to be something this week that reminds you of who you are. And I feel like it's going to be a beautiful relief, is what I'm hearing. Okay. Next up, we've got Scorpio. See what we have for Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, you guys have Ace of Pentacles, and this is giving the same kind of energy as Aries, that newness. I see new opportunities are being handed to you. New opportunities are being created by you. You are co-creating new opportunities that are of value. I feel like you are just taking life by the horns. I don't know why Spirit just put it that way. Taking life by the horns, and you are doing the damn thing, creating what you want to see and experience. And Spirit is co-signing it 100%. So many of you may be feeling that newness, that rebirth that I was talking about in the beginning of the live. All right. But definitely take advantage of this energy, because it's readily available for you. Okay. Next up, we've got Sagittarius. All right. See what we got for Sagittarius for this week. We've got Justice. Okay, Sag. Some of you are really going to be tapping into your Jupiterian energy this week in terms of justice. Some of you are going to be feeling very like activist-like in terms of justice for humanity, really focusing on the injustices in society. Like, some of you are going to want to be judge, jury, and executioner this week. And Spirit says, go for it. We all have times in our life when, and I'm not saying that you guys are going to be playing the villain, but I feel like you guys are going to be like checking people, or like really, how do I say this? You guys want to be judge, jury, and executioner when it comes to certain people, whether it's on a grand scale in terms of what's going on in society, or whether it's just the people in your life. Like, I feel like you guys are done with the bullshit. You guys are done with, because you guys can be happy-go-lucky, but I feel like you're really going to be taking people to task this week. And again, being judge, jury, and executioner. And Spirit is like, I'm all for it. I'm with it. I'm with you on this. So just, however if this resonates with you and you feel this kind of energy, it's not a coincidence. It's sort of, you're meant to exude this energy or exhibit this role at this time. So again, go for it. All right. Next up, we've got Capricorn. Capricorn for this week. Some of you are really concerned with your personal brand right now, whether it's your personal brand or your reputation. And you guys have the 3 of Wands. Some of you are waiting for something, like you really put on a good show. Your personal brand and your reputation are like sterling right now. And you guys are waiting for the return on what that personal branding can bring you. So some of you are waiting for money, some of you are waiting for deals, but I see you like sitting pretty. Like, you know what? Like, yeah, I did the work. Yeah, that was me. Yes, I am. I'm perfect. Yes, this looks good. Yes, this is well curated. Yes, this is a high level, high value thing. And you're really waiting for the dividends to come in. And they will. They will. But Spirit is saying, be a little patient. As much as you've done the work, which is great, like you're being applauded for that, not everything works on your timetable. And so you've done the work. Let Spirit do the rest and just wait in joyful expectation. Okay. Next up, we've got Aquarius. So let's see what we've got for Aquarius for this week. Okay, Aquarius. We've got death. Something majorly is changing in your life. There is a major transformation this week. For some, I'm hearing like going to a funeral, or there may be someone around you who passes. And if that is the case, my sincere condolences. But some of you, there's something inside you that is about to break free. This may be a completely different side of you that people don't get to see, that is really different, and that it's almost like this tug of war. You've been fighting yourself with bringing forth this part of yourself. And I feel like the tug of war ends this week and you guys are going to emerge perhaps a very different person, or maybe even have a very different outlook on life than you previously had. But there is a major shift in energy this week for you. And it's like, I'm getting like Phoenix rising from the ashes. Like, some of you have set fire to your old self and you're going to be re-emerging a very different person, but a person that is more authentic to who you truly are. Okay. And then finally, we've got Pisces. So let's see what we have for Pisces. We've got the 5 of Wands. All right. So some of you are very conflicted. I'm hearing some of you need to get some sunlight or just go outside. Some of you have been like inside too long. I'm also hearing like you've been in your, Pisces is all the inner world, right? Some of you have been in your inner world a little too long. Like you need to come up for air because you're ruminating on personal conflicts. You're going over different things in your subconscious. And it's like, for some, it could also be a tug of war within you too. But you're spending too much time and energy there. You need to come up for air. You need to get some sunlight. You need to get some fresh air, whether literally or metaphorically. But you don't have to spend so much time inside. During your season, it's very easy to go within and stay there. But we're not in Pisces season anymore. We're in Aries season. It's time to come out in the sun. It's time to emerge. Get out of your head. Get out of your emotions. Fish, yes, they live in water perpetually, but they usually come up to the surface for air sometimes, right? This is your time to come up for air, for a breath of fresh air. You don't need to sit in this energy all the time. And not only that, this energy, like you also need to work this out. Just because you're living on the inside doesn't necessarily mean that everything on the inside is copacetic. And if it's not, you need to work out this conflict and move forward from it, okay? But you need to get out of all of that and move into the sunlight and get some fresh air. All right. All right, my friends. So that concludes another edition of the Weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week and beyond. All right. So if you would like to book a personal reading with me, if you would like to book a natal chart reporting consultation, progressed natal chart reporting consultation, all of those links and information will be in the description box below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the absolute best for this coming week, and I will see you guys next time. All right, my loves, take care.